Buddy here from Pickle 361 for another AVP episode. Today I have Mirzzy, former mechanical engineer turned tennis coach turned professional pickleball player. We're going to delve deep into what makes him click today. Mirzzy, thank you so much for making the time.
Thank you so much for inviting me for this podcast.
Awesome. So we want to start from the very beginning. Could you just give us a brief rundown of where you grew up and how did you eventually find your way to KL?
Okay, so my name is Mirrzy. My IG profile is Mirrzy Kelvin. I look Chinese. I am mixed Malay, Chinese, Iban, and Malana because I was born and raised in Muka, which is a considerably small town in Sarawak. So that's where I grew up. And throughout the years, eventually we moved out from Muka and then to Racket and then to Kuching. But all the while from kindergarten, primary school, and even the secondary school, I was born and raised in Sarawak. So then I pursued my tertiary education in mechanical engineering, where I had my first job in Kuching in 2020, only because I was stuck because I am CEO. I studied in Peninsular Malaysia, in West Malaysia. That I went back after a program that I participated in, which is called the Fellow Perdana, where I was attached to one of the ministers. So we were attached to the minister's office and we actually followed the ministers throughout Parliament, the initiative from the groundwork, the grassroots work. And after I finished that program, I moved back to Kuching, then started finding work, and then eventually MCO happened and got stuck there.
And so what made you take that flight over to KL? After the travel was allowed? Was it right after?
Yeah, it was right.
Were you getting quite sick of Kuching?
I mean, I was getting too comfortable back at home, which is something that I'm not really keen of. I like to be outside of my comfort zone. So after graduation, I was back in Kuching, and I mean, I think it's quite a norm for, at least in my era, my batchmate, my uni mates. As an engineer, we always wanted to work overseas. I mean, the nearest is our neighboring country, which is Singapore.
Singapore, yeah, that's the dream, right? That's the Malaysian dream.
That's the dream. I mean,
everything's better in Singapore.
Yeah, you work 10 years there. Basically, you work 30 years in Malaysia.
Yeah.
Then I tried to apply to work in Singapore, but because during that time, everything was unsure. The employers in Singapore, they were unsure of what is the latest SOP in hiring workers, foreign workers, especially from Malaysia. So I decided to just work in Kuching, and then after a year plus, almost 2 years, then I found an upgrade of work. So I moved back to KL. I think towards the end of 2021, that's when I moved back to KL.
It's interesting to hear your journey from that small town all the way to KL and the reasons you came across. And so tell us about how tennis played a big part in your life.
Okay. I would put it, my dad was a state player for one of the ministries in the government, state government. And he played for Masak. So that's how we all started. Me and my brother, we started at a very young age, at 7 years old. So that's how we started playing tennis. So when we played tennis, I managed to get into the state team of Sarawak when I was in primary school and then secondary school. And then that's how my passion for tennis grew. And when we get into adulthood, where we are so busy with work, and tennis is actually an escape kill for me, at least, because, after working for 8 hours straight, sitting in the office, meeting clients because I was in sales. Although I was an engineer, I was in the sales line before. Then after working, I was really looking forward to tennis because that took away my focus from the stress and pressure in life to sports is where you have fun, you meet people, you socialize, and at the same time, you're being healthy.
Okay.
The passion grew in tennis.
So that was your escape.
Yes.
Tennis was your escape when you were playing or when you were coaching?
Very good question there. So I enjoy playing a lot. So coaching, when I was back in coaching, so a friend of mine, we coach amongst our friends. So when I moved back to KL, it turned to somewhat a part-time income for me. But I always never look at the monetary value of it. I actually look at the knowledge that I shared to my students, because when I do coaching, it's always about patience first. Because I am very passionate about tennis, so when I have the opportunity to coach and to teach my student, that's where it's actually the interest of not just playing, but coaching student grew. And that's when it turned to somewhat a bit more coaching rather than playing socially. But because also the amount of tennis courts out there is quite limited, then students book the court earlier because they're so committed. So looking at your students so committed in playing, we also becoming the person who's really committed to coach them.
So you could see the commitment in them, and
Yeah.
so naturally you have to match that energy.
Yes.
Okay. So if you think from the perspective of your students, if they were to be asked, like, what do they think of Coach Mirrzy? What do you think they would say?
Not gonna deny that. I mean, look is a bonus. I'm not saying that I'm the best looking out there, but I mean, confident I can.
Yeah.
But I would like my student to look at me as someone that can rely on court and off court, because I believe coaching is not just about teaching your student the technique and the tactical of the game on court. But when they're off court, how do we make sure that they stick to the plan? They follow the routine that they have to actually improve. And one of the main thing that I always mention to my student, if you want to know your flaws on the court, you want to level up, join competition.
Because it will expose your flaws under a microscope.
Yes, correct. So when you're under pressure, you will notice there are a lot of areas of improvement that you need to work on. So that's one of the tips that I always give to my students.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can you give a few examples that that will expose you, that you come to the realizations that, oh, I'm not good enough here and there, for example?
Yeah. Okay, from my personal experience, I will relate this to the most recent tournament, because I mean, this podcast is about pickleball, right? So bringing it back to pickleball.
Yes.
So I participated in tournaments considerably years ago. So when pickleball came out, because there's so many tournaments out there. So when I joined tournament, and because the sport is relatively new and there are a lot of coaches out there, I believe that when the coach face the pressure themselves, when they participate in a tournament, then they realize a lot of things where the areas of improvement they need to work on. So for my personal experience, when I coach the student before a tournament and after a tournament, I always tell them, you guys always get lucky. Because when I play the tournament, there are certain things, for example, like positioning. Court positioning is really important, because when I play on the court with higher level players, we don't just learn ourselves on the court, but we ask around the other better players. So based on the game that we had prior, what is the area of improvement that you think that I should work on? For example,
So you usually do that? You speak to your opponent after the match?
Yes.
For feedback about yourself?
Yes, correct.
And usually are they very open about sharing?
Majority, I would say.
But if you win, you won't ask them lah.
Vice versa. If they ask, then I share with them what are my techniques, my strategy on the game and winning it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you will, vice versa, as in you will honestly answer what you saw their weaknesses, their weaknesses you targeted?
Yes, definitely. Because I want the sports to grow ultimately. Because it's relatively new in Malaysia, and I want to see the passion grow, and of course, the sports to grow. And one of the experience that I remember the most was during league, the Machi League. It was at this called at GPA.
Yeah.
So we were playing against Jimmy. Jimmy Leong is a very dear friend of mine. When I was in the state team, I think under 18, he was under 12. So when he joined pickleball, like, hey, he grew up already. So after that match, I asked him what is the feedback. Like, what did I do wrong there? So he mentioned very good point where a lot of social level players, intermediate level player, they don't have is the reset on the mid court. A lot of time people just drive on the back of the court and just rush in. But what I learned from there, what he said was, when you drive, you move into mid-court, try to reset so that you have the time and opportunity to move in and pressure them back, instead of driving and just rush it forward.
Okay.
So those are the few tips that I learned from him. And from that day, a lot of other tips from him and other players that I actually share with my students. So I do believe that when you put under pressure, you do notice the flaws that you have. Like you said, when you put under a microscope, then you see all those little flaws that you have.
Could you tell us another piece of information that you heard from maybe an international player?
Okay. We think international player. So I'm in the Facolos team, Facolos team. So we had a clinic with Mitch Hargrave. So during the workshop, he focuses a lot on placement rather than power. So for example, when someone ding, a lot of time when people speed up, they emphasize on making it hard and powerful. But if you just make the shot simple, make it wide and place it further from their body, it's all about setting up the ball for the next one for you to kill. So that's one of the tips that I learned from him as from an international player.
That's a good tip. I think all of us could definitely benefit from that. Okay, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll talk about Mirzzy's transition from tennis to pickleball. All right? Yeah. Thanks.
We have to thank My Pickleball, Malaysia's #1 pickleball store, for sponsoring our episode today. If pickleball is your game, this is your go-to store. Why? Because My Pickleball is the OG of all things pickleball in Malaysia. They offer the widest range of pickleball brands and gear in Malaysia, with over 400 demo paddles to try before you buy. Do you know that they even have an on-site court to test your shots and the friendliest expert staff who actually play the game to give you all the recommendations you need? Visit My Pickleball HQ at the Strand, Kota Damansara today, or one of their 3 other branches. Or shop online at www.mypickleball.my from the comfort of your home. Don't forget to use promo code MERDEKA6807 for an extra 7% discount. Once again, thank you My Pickleball for helping AVP survive another week. Cheers!
All right, we're back. In this segment, we're going to talk about Mirzzy's transition from tennis to pickleball. So, when you come from a world of tennis, how's your experience playing pickleball for the first time? And how did you view it? Maybe before you first played, some tennis players look down on it before they try it? What was your journey?
I would label myself as a maverick where I like to explore and adventure new things. When I saw pickleball, I mean, there's no initial impression of the sport.
Very neutral.
But when I first started playing it, I was actually not bad. It's quite exhilarating because, from hitting, from the pedal, from the noise of it, the court is short, the fast pace of the sports itself, because you hit pop, 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 pop. So it's fast, it's fun. You can whack hard and you can body back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the elements in the sport that I feel is actually quite interesting. And ultimately, of course, it's because everyone can play. So that's the best part. It's a very easy sport to pick up. The entry level for it to play is slightly lower than tennis. And I mean, of course, it's hard to master. That's why you need a coach. Okay.
And if you're looking for a coach, easy on the eyes. What's the biggest technical mindset shift to transition?
Biggest mindset?
Mindset or technical?
The technical... Not much of a technical, I would say, because it's like on the job training kind of thing with pickleball, because it's so new and we adapt some shots in tennis to pickleball. It's not really a shift, but it's how you reshape to make it adaptable and suitable for pickleball. I would say it doesn't matter from which sports background you are, as long as you manage to adapt your skill set to pickleball, then it will work very well.
Okay. What kind of habits did you have to unlearn to be effective at pickleball?
Let me think. Oh, okay. I wouldn't say I unlearn it, but I relearn my tennis, which is because in tennis, my main backhand is single-handed backhand. It's either a slice backhand, which works well in pickleball, but my main one is also a single-handed backhand.
Yeah.
So a lot of people say in pickleball, it's quite hard to control your shots. And when you are in the kitchen line, when you ding, you have to learn the roll. So if you roll with one hand, it's rather hard. So I need to relearn double-handed backhand so that I can roll in the kitchen line and also from the baseline. If I want to drive, I can still use my single-handed, I can use my double-handed, but the thing that I relearned, I would say, is the double-handed. And I wouldn't say there's anything that I unlearned. It's rather than shifting it to make it suitable for pickleball.
Okay, that's interesting. And in the reverse did you take any lessons from pickleball that changed your tennis game? Or did it make it worse?
I've never been. I would say the lesson that I learned from pickleball is actually when I underwent to the IPTPA examination, the certification for the coaches. So I went for level 1 and then I went for level 2. So during level 2, it's more of for the student rather than for me, because from how I learned pickleball is from joining tournaments and asking around better players and some of the shots that you can do on YouTube. This is the master guru. Everything was on YouTube. But one thing that I learned from the IPTPA level 2 is when I was having a demo coaching session of a beginner, the president himself, the IPTPA, which was my examiner, Mr. Reef, I was dinking on my student. Then I was slicing. Slicing is a typical, Ben John, you clock your wrist up, you like that. But when I tried it, I cannot. So when I did that to my student, I sliced. When I sliced, then Reef came to me. You are a good player. You are intermediate and advanced player. But imagine you are coaching a beginner player. They won't be able to slice. They won't be able to roll. Always come back to basic. Learn how to push. So when we did that, after 10 minutes, the student automatically can slice. Because
So it's like you start from the basics.
Yes, correct.
Otherwise, it's too intimidating to
Correct.
start with the advanced skill.
Yes. So it's always come back to basic, where in pickleball, you need to learn how to hit from the bottom of the ball or from the side bottom of the ball. Then you can do a lot of things with the ball, from slicing to rolling the ball and even driving the ball.
Could you tell us a little bit about the process to get the level 2 certification? Because for our fans that's unfamiliar, you hear of many coaches in the market with level 1, but how many coaches do you think in Malaysia has level 2 certification?
I'm not really sure, but I think it will be less than 10.
Less than 10, wow.
It honestly is a hard test to pass. Reason being is I fail. To be honest, I failed once, and that's how I learned. So it's a really tough examination, because for level 2, you have to pass, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, a 23 skill set of dinking, straight, and cross. And you have to roll from third shot drop, from every skill set there are, from dinking, from driving, third shot drop, from lobbing, from servicing. When you counter punch volley, when you roll volley, you have to exceed 2/3 of the court, and you're only given 10 ball. You need to make sure the shot is within that 2/3 of the court, 8 out of 10 ball to make sure that you pass.
So you make a third mistake in anything, immediate failure?
Yes.
Even in one skill?
Yes. So in that...
So every 23 skill test, allowed to make 2 mistakes, a third mistake at any point, fail immediately. They stop immediately, or they let you do the rest?
They will stop immediately. They will stop it.
And is it a ball feeding? Is it a machine feeding you, or like
the examiner will feed the ball to you? It's either a single feed or multiple feed, as in a rally feed. It's either a rally feed or a single feed.
But were there instances where it was a bad feed to do with?
Yeah, the examiner will apologize for it, and we will continue with the next feed.
As in, he gave you a bad feed, and does he give you another chance?
Yeah, he'll give you another chance.
Okay. So it's a fair feed. But if you honestly made 3 mistakes, then too bad.
Yes, total out.
So you feel a bit...
Which skill was it that got you?
I think it was the third shot drop, because that is one of the toughest one. Because third shot drop, you need to really from the back and maintain third shot drop, and it's quite hard.
And it's as long as it lands in there, if it's really like a weird angle, but that's okay. As long as it ends there.
As long as it ends there, because there's a forehand, also there's a backhand, so everything is taken into account. Forehand, it might be easy, but backhand, then when you third shot drop cross, then you need to do straight, you need to do cross. So all the elements are there.
That's really challenging. The
on form,
pressure.
then okay lah. Then you got chance lah. If that thing you got no form at all,
Yeah.
lagi susah.
Yeah. So the first round I took it was I took together with my level 1. So we were there the whole day. So we continued level 2 at 7 o'clock and everyone was actually quite
Tired
exhausted
already.
yeah. And I mean, in that round also, there was one Iranian that came that flew all the way from Iran just to take the level 2, and he unfortunately failed.
This was in KL?
It was in KL.
How many students for that level 2 session?
8 in total. I think only 1 or 2 passed.
And then 1 or 2, like, was it their first time or?
I think 1 is their second time, 1 is their first time.
Wow.
It
So
was
it is tough. You heard it from the man himself. If someone say they have IPTPA Level 2,
Yeah.
that's quite an achievement. Okay. I want to talk more about your journey to become a professional pickleball player. So I believe you're signed with Facolos. What was that feeling when you got that call?
I was happy over the roof because upcoming tournament, I don't have to pay. My equipment, I don't need to pay. I mean, largely because I'm so into these sports, but because there's so many tournaments and the equipment, as a big banger,
Yeah.
as a powerful player, the pedal doesn't last as long. So the amount of money that you invest in the sports, even for the first 3 months, is rather high. So I was really happy that Facolos or Facolos.
Is that how they say it in Vietnam?
Yeah. They say it was Facolos instead of Facolos.
Okay.
Actual pronunciation is actually Facolos. And I'm actually very happy because we use and we know of the Facolos team from the start. So when I was signed under their player, I was really happy that we can actually work together with them, not just for my own benefits, but also how I can bring it back to the community by joining more competition and bringing their brand out there to the community and grassroots level.
That's amazing. I think a lot of fans, a lot of people going into the sport, they're playing casually with their friends. Maybe they just look at it as, you just pay 25 ringgit per session. But once you become a tournament player, frequently joins tournaments, you got the equipment, the shoes, the tournament entry, and unless not everyone gets to be on the podium, everyone else essentially is a lot of costs to lose most of the time and hopefully learn some lessons along the way to improve. What's a behind the scenes moment that others don't know about the pro player lifestyle? Or maybe the work that goes into being at the top?
I guess it depends on the player. It's a very subjective thing because some pro players, so one of the pro player I met during PPA tour, Wang Nam, he was a professional tennis player back in Vietnam. So when he turned to pickleball, I asked him one question: do you coach? He said he doesn't. He plays full time. But there are other players, like for example myself, that I do play full time and I do coach at the same time because I need to have a work-life balance per se, because I need to coach and need to run my academy to put rice bowl on the table.
Yeah.
Definitely.
In the rice bowl. Hopefully got extra chicken and vegetables. So it's
Teriyaki chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, the routine for, I would say, a pro player, as we do have to drill, is either with ourselves or with our fellow teammates, or we do play social games here and there. But sometimes the pro players tend to pick and choose who they play because they want to keep the level up. Because if once they slow down in pickleball, the ball is really round. Even you're the top player, you can lose in the group stage. So they have to maintain a certain standard sometimes when they play in the social game.
What do you mean by that? Like they won't play an average person in a social game? Is it because they don't want to be associated with a regular person, or they're not like training at an intense level?
I would say it's the latter, because sometimes when we play in a social level, it depending on what is our expectation sometimes. Like generally we don't mind. I don't mind when people ask and invite us to play social game, because to me that's one of the main aspect in pickleball, at least in Malaysia, is the social aspect of it. So I enjoy that side of the sport, but sometimes we try to limit it as well, because it's either we are training, we are drilling, or we are coaching. So we have quite a limited time sometimes to work on our skill set and also to be able to go out there and play socially with other players, in which we don't mind because we love to socialize and
Yeah.
get to know people out there in the community level.
Yeah, I think that also, because not only are you a professional player, but also you have the academy. So naturally being social does tend to lead to more leads
Yes.
for the academy.
Yeah.
To really get down on the ground to like meet intermediate and kind of newbie players who you can help along their journey, right?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, that's a perfect segue into our next segment about the Vamos Academy.
Yep.
Right? So as I understand it, you focus on tennis and pickleball?
Yes.
Okay. And currently, do you have more tennis or pickleball students?
How it started was Vamos. It started with a tennis academy. Then when I joined a lot more pickleball, then I shifted the focus to 50-50 to tennis and pickleball. But I would say, at least for my own coaching schedule, I would say more pickleball now. Because even though I do coaching and a lot of people ask me, why are you so fair?
Fair?
Yeah, when I'm fair, my skin is fair when I do tennis coaching. It's
Okay.
because I only do nighttime
Okay.
and pickleball is where I can do during the daytime, indoor. So
Is it because you don't like to be in the sun?
in a way, I've had enough of it during my younger days, during the competition days in tennis last time, because we used to play at 12 o'clock in the noon, and my teacher always really forced me to go out under the sun.
So younger photos of you, are you very dark?
Maybe for that 1 week.
Okay.
After
You had all the 10 lines?
Yeah. I still do now, but not as much as last time. But just for 1 week, then I'll be fair back.
Okay. So what do you see in beginners or kids that excites you?
What I see in beginners and kids that excites me is their commitment to learning the sports. Because when they first arrive on the court, they are actually very excited, especially the beginners. Adults, be it adults beginner or kids beginner, but mainly adults beginner, because kids beginner sometimes, when the parents force them to come, they just come.
They're like half-hearted lah.
And the parents come, send pop chow hilang, habis, that's it. But
It's like they care lah.
yeah, it's like they care. But to me, when they step foot on the court, I try my best to make sure that I turn my passion to make sure that they are passionate on the sports as well. So I try to make it fun, and knowing that when they're so committed in learning the new sport itself, it's actually drive me even more to actually, because my normal coaching lesson, hardly any break. So that 1 hour is very
intense, like
legit.
you
I will pick up the ball and continue, pick up the ball and continue, because I want them to really fulfill that 1 hour of actually learning the sport itself.
I think that's a great way to look at it. I think a lot of people, there's different coaches all work differently, but if you're coming to learn and you're like packing in all that knowledge in that limited time, I think that's great value.
Yeah.
Especially with good lessons that's going into it. A final question before we close up this segment is, what do you think makes a good pickleball lesson?
It depends on the level, definitely. So my take on a lesson is, I always ask my coaches to ask this one important thing. What is your expectation for today? What is it that you want to learn or you want to work on today, so that the coach can actually focus more on the area that you want to work on? Because sometimes some coaches are so carried away with what they want to teach, then they forget to teach or to coach what that person wants to learn. So to me, the take of making a great lesson is always get to know what is your student expectation at the end of the lesson, so that there's a match of your coaching and what is the expectation and what they're learning at the end.
So matching the expectations.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'm sure there isn't a match, because someone who's not at a certain level say, I want to learn the Ben John's roll. But you're going to say, hey, you need to do the basics first. And, if they sign up for just one lesson, how are you going to achieve that, right?
Yeah.
So how would you realign that expectation?
I would always be very honest with them. I'm a very straightforward person. So sometimes they want to learn a lot of things in a day. And I will be honest with that, I can cram it in a day, but there won't be any much information that you can get from it, because I'm trying to cram everything in 1 hour. But let's say they want to learn the Benjon slice, for example.
Yeah.
You can
So-
only get Mirzzy slice.
Yeah. So I actually had one experience. It's a real life experience. So
Mm.
there's one player, a couple. So they are tennis players.
Mm.
So the guy asked me, I play tennis, I can slice in tennis, but why in pickleball I cannot slice? I watch a lot of YouTube, and you know Ben John, you clock your wrist, you lock your arm, you pull your body. Yeah. I did the same thing. I also cannot.
Mm.
So it's not something that I resonate with the video. So I told him this one thing. Okay, I don't want to do this too long because it can be quite dragging, dinking, and slicing. So what I did was I asked him to come back to basic. So we did one simple basic thing, which is to push cross. Just ding, cross. And then after that 10 minutes, he started to slice. Then after that, he was like, now I can slice. So I told him the reason being is because mainly in backhand, there's a basic, which is a push, there's a slice, and also there's a roll. So when you learn how to push the ball, you learn how to ding by pushing the ball over the net. You are learning how to hit the ball under the ball. So when you do that, you get used to the feeling of the ball hitting your pedal at the right spot.
Mm.
Then eventually your natural muscle memory gonna kick in to slide. So your motion, the starting motion starts from below and upward. That's when you know the feeling is there. You just focus on that, drill on it, build that
Mm.
muscle memory, then you can get it. So it's about, to me, the coach has to look at how the student, what is their body accustomed to, and you curate it to what they can accept and adapt at the end of the lesson.
I think that plays a big part in coaching as well.
Yes.
Like I think identifying the skill sets or the capabilities of the student, their body mechanics, and
Yes.
kind of tailoring that lesson to suit them. All right. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to speak about the Asian pickleball scene. Thanks. So in this segment, we're going to talk about the Asian pickleball scene. From your point of view, both as a coach and a player, how do you see pickleball developing in the past 2 years in Malaysia?
I would say it's growing really fast. And I guess on the chart is, number 1 is Vietnam, number 2 is Malaysia right now. But I would have a feeling that the fastest growing sport in Asia right now is Malaysia, definitely. Because the amount of courts opening up is literally every week.
Yeah,
Still is, surprisingly.
not slowing down.
That was slowing down. But which is good for the sports and for the players, for both social players and pro players.
You've encountered all kinds of players from different sports backgrounds, different nations. Could you very briefly rate, you think, which nations will be producing top pickleball players in the near future?
Only one country?
No. You can say top 3 lah.
Okay, top 3. Confirm bang. Confirm bang. I would say, controversial. Damn controversial. Okay, I would say Vietnam number 1. Because
Vietnam
they
number
started
1.
way earlier than Malaysia.
Uh-huh.
Second, definitely will be Malaysia.
Malaysia.
Third, I would say Philippines. Because I rate this accordingly because Vietnam has been in the market for longer than Malaysia, but the amount of players for Vietnam and Malaysia is growing really fast. So that's why I would say Malaysia second. Third is Philippines. They have great players, but it's not as hype up as it is in Malaysia and Vietnam.
Okay. So, I mean, if anyone disagrees, please comment below. Represent your nation.
Oh,
Make them proud. Okay, so in Malaysia, you say there's growth, obviously. But are we growing in the right direction? And is there anything that needs to be addressed to help the growth?
I would say they would definitely not a right time to start. But as long as you start, we will always head to the right direction. Albeit the processes getting to the right direction may be quite not as smooth as you want it to be, but as long as we start it, and eventually, slowly, it will go to the right direction.
Okay, but you're saying this from a perspective of the people's making the regulations, or is it tournament organizers, or is it just students getting into the game?
I would say generally across all boards, because I'm coaching and I also pro professionally. And because I was involved in the summit, the Asia Pickleball Summit, and we talked with a few of key leaders, from international leaders as well as the local politicians. So what they're trying to do is trying to streamline everything so that everything will be done under good governance. But definitely will take some time. But there are initiatives running from grassroots level to even community level to make things right. And eventually we'll be there.
I can see the growth. We all can see the growth. Like, I think everyone's doing their part from the summit. Some interesting points were brought up. Great to see it at the grassroots level. They're already thinking ahead. Okay, in this section, we want to talk about training recovery and the pro athlete mindset.
Okay.
Let's talk routines. What does a week look like for you as a pro athlete, plus squeezing in the other things?
Like these podcasts.
Coaching. Okay, this week I would say relatively more busy because today is actually my birthday.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Mirzzy.
23rd. Okay, no. 3rd of July. Okay. One off scene.
That's the celebration.
So, but typically on a normal routine, I would say coaching, drilling, playing socially with community or social players or even amongst our teammates. And as for me, because I'm running the Vamos Academy, so I'm running the schedule for the coaches, liaising with multiple venue partners, and at the same time, other events, let's say even for this podcast or the other meetings that I need to attend to. So I would say it's quite packed. Generally.
Okay, maybe to rephrase, let's say you put aside all your personal things just to train enough to be a pro. How much time goes into that?
Minimum 3 days a week.
Okay.
3 days a week.
And what kind of training are you doing? Is it drilling? Is it ball machine? Is it high level play?
I would say at least 3 to 4 days a week of 3 hours, which 1 hour of drilling, 2 hours of high level play. That will definitely help a lot.
I see. A lot of people see the social media posts of these pro athletes getting on the podium, but I think they're not seeing the hard work and the non-sexy grind that goes into sharpening the skill. Are there any mental routines you have going into a match? Anything you do to hype yourself up, or some music you listen to?
Mental routine I would do before a match is definitely number one, you look at the brackets, the schedule, so you have an insight of who your next opponents are and you watch them play. Because last week you watched them play and this week you watch them play, they might be partnering with different people. Or last week maybe they're on form, this week they're not on form. So what I would do normally is number one, definitely look at the bracket, like who's my next opponent, and from the top or bottom, who am I going to meet along those until the end, final and even podium. Second is I watch how they play on the court, like try to strategize and find out what is the thing that they don't like, and during the game itself you apply it so then you can strategize better before even the game starts. So that's what I would say my mental routines are.
Are there mind games involved?
Definitely.
What's an example?
Mind game for me?
Yeah. How do you psycho your opponent before or during? You purposely body bag? Do you?
Usually, I mean, I'm a chill player. I mean, a chill player won't say they're a chill player. But typically before a game, I won't do anything. It's just that on the game itself, because I treat it as a competition ground. So what happens on the court stays on the court. It's like work setting. So even in the meeting setting, you are being this. After the meeting, like, hey, let's yamcha. It's the same thing for me. So when on the court, the mind game we do is mostly on the shouting and the cheering part.
Like when you win a point,
when we win a point, then we cheer. So that it's not just to mind game for your opponent, but it's actually a mind game for yourself. Because when you do that, you actually boost a lot of internal energy. It boosts your spirit to actually win the whole game.
No wonder when I'm watching matches, there's all this shouting, and then the other team is more shouting, and then the supporters are also getting involved.
For drama purpose.
A quick question. What advice do you give your academy students about preparing for their first tournament?
drill more and play more before the tournament and prepare and rehydrate. Definitely try to rehydrate because the norm of Malaysian tournament now is you can play one day of 6 matches. So it's a long day. You can stay there for even half a day, even a full day. So rehydrate. Rehydration is important.
Okay, remember that. Rehydration. Not going to perform if you're cramping. Okay?
King of cramp.
King of cramp. Okay, in this section, we're going to do fun, like rapid fire questions. So
Okay.
it's going to be fast answers,
Okay.
short, fast answers. Okay?
Scary. Okay.
Rapid fire, quick answers. Singles or doubles?
Double.
Favorite paddle brand?
Facolos.
Ah, almost got him out there. Pre-match hype song.
I just watched F1 movie, Lose
Yeah.
My Mind. That's the song.
All right, lose my mind. Okay, and post-tournament treat.
Lala pot lo, mala lala pot lo.
I thought you were going to say ice cream or something or chocolate. Okay, which pro you love to play against or team up with?
Which?
Which pro,
Oh.
professional player you want to team up against or play against?
Ben John.
Your teammate or opponent?
Oh, opponent.
Opponent. Okay, how about this? The perfect doubles match. You partner who against who and who?
Okay, me, partner, Jimmy.
Winner gets Lalapot.
Oh, okay, this is
You
interesting.
partner Jimmy. Partner Jimmy, okay. Against?
Against Ben John and Ellie Water.
Oh.
That'll be interesting.
Make it happen. Yeah, let's speak to you lah. Okay, so a few more questions. Does being a tennis player give you an advantage in pickleball?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Should pro players also become coaches or does that distract from their game?
It will somewhat distract you from performing because sometimes when you coach too much with beginner players, it slows down your pace. So it will somewhat affect your play, definitely.
Okay. Is the current level of pickleball in Asia overrated or underrated?
I would say underrated.
So elaborate a bit more. Why do you think so?
Because pickleball started in US, so they are doing really well with pickleball with their PPA. So in Asia, it's somewhat relatively new. So it's like some Asian players, especially those from Trailblazers, when they went over to US, actually the skill set is there on par with them. So I would say the skill set in Asia is underrated. That's why PPA is exploring Asia now to boost and build the pickleball community in Asia.
Could you rate the top 4 racket sports with advantage coming into pickleball and name why?
Tennis
Number 1, tennis.
for your drive,
Okay.
ping pong from your roll.
Uh-huh.
Because you play against those ping pong players, you stand inside the kitchen, they roll everything back to you.
Yeah.
Third is badminton because they have fast hand, they have fast reflex in front of the net. You drive to them, they come back to you. The fourth one, it will be squash because squash sometimes when they drive, because they hold a very continental grip, so they both sort of like slice a hybrid, slice and drive. So it can be quite sharp to you. It looks like it's going up, but it's actually going in. So these are the 4 spots.
4, okay. And from playing these different players from different racket sport background, have you picked up little skills that you've implemented in your game?
Definitely from initially it was squash and tennis. Then I pick up badminton reflex and ping pong roll because to level up to a certain level, you need to learn how to roll and flick. That's where the badminton flick and the reflex and the roll of the ping pong players in front of the kitchen line, in front of the net. That's really important to level up.
What's one trend in pickleball coaching that you think is like BS?
Viral or not viral? Thinking or driving? Wow, one trend in pickleball.
Yeah.
Shit. No, it's really controversial, I would say that. One trend in pickleball.
Yeah.
Wow. Let's say BS.
Okay
is
lah,
that
let's say
controversial?
overrated that you don't believe in personally.
I believe in all the skill set in pickleball is important, but I do see in grassroots level where even my students themselves, where they first learn with me, they always ask me to learn how to drive,
Mm.
which I don't find it's wrong in totality. But pickleball, the element of it, the initial element of it is actually a slow game where thinking is important. So what I will do is always teach them how to think and then teach them how to drive. But I don't believe there is any trend that is BS like at the moment. It's just a matter of how the coach adapt this trend that they want to what it is they're supposed to learn on the court.
Okay. You're very politically correct.
Very politically correct.
Okay. A final question. What advice would you give your younger self?
Don't change a thing because I would say try not to live in regrets because you are who you are today because of what you did in the past. And you should be proud of what you are today because that's why they call today is a present and tomorrow is a mystery. So never change a thing because you are who you are today because of what you did in the past. And definitely there's a long way journey down the road and there are a lot more things that we will do. And for example, pickleball, we never knew it became a hype. We never knew. I thought, as a tennis player back then, it would stop there. But now when it comes in, then it comes to pro pickleball players. So live your life, live in the present definitely, and do and improve 1% every day, each day.
This looks like a man that reads a lot. I think that's a great point that you touched on, that I think you've explored every opportunity that comes your way, that you feel deep down you might be right. You never know what path is going to lead you down to bringing you towards something that brings you a lot more joy in life. So thank you, Mirzzy, for making the time to come today.
Thank you, buddy.
From mechanical engineer to professional pickleball player, academy owner. If you're looking for lessons to level up or general positivity and motivational quotes, look for Mirrzy and the Vamos Academy. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, buddy.
All right. Good episode.